Alright. Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Guess the MMR. And we are jumping straight into the game because we've got a new way of doing the show this week. So last time we did the first episode, I had to guess players MMR within 100 and I nailed the first one spot on 2000 MMR, and then I was way off by about 500 MMR games 2 and game 3. Now this time around, guys, we got all sorts of suggestions for how we could change it up. And a lot of people said 100 MMR range is just too narrow. So Pig, guess what? Hopping into the games this week, you can have a 200 MMR range. So if someone's 3000 MMR, I could guess anywhere between 2800 and 3200, and that would still count as a win. So I thank you, YouTube comment section. You guys have given me a little bit more leniency this time around. Also, guess what? Rather than just watching the whole replay, we've got a whole bunch of other rules. First of all, guys, I have to start watching from the middle of the replay. That's why I'm starting here, and there's crazy action going on in this Zerg vs. Terran that I'm trying to pass. Now, this is a 22-minute game. You guys can tell we started the 11-minute replay. I didn't even look at anything that happened up to this point. I had my eyes covered the whole early game, and I'm trying to figure it out. Now, what are some other rules? I'm not allowed to rewind. I'm not allowed to pause. I'm not allowed to look at hotkeys, and I'm not allowed to look at APM. So I can look at upgrades, production units. I cannot look at the APM tab. And guys, this is going to be awesome. There's no exact time restriction other than the fact that I have to start halfway through each replay, so I don't get to see the early game. Now, looking at this, we've got Jedi Knight here doing a big bio push, is a bit far in front of the Widow Mines, but does kind of stim and start a step back. The Zerg player, Bustin, seems to have a really good economy. This seems to be a pretty high-level game just from the fact that there's a lot of fighting. Both sides are up on a big 4-base economy. At least feels like the Terran's overextended a little bit, but you can see he's got 2-2 upgrades kicking in now. Zerg's 2-2 hasn't even started because all the pressure that's been on them. The only unfortunate thing for the Terran is that these Widow Mines haven't really spaced out, and the Terran production seems to have slowed down a little bit. Zergling Runby tries to come in for Boston. Okay, this is, I mean, I really want to check control groups and APM. I'm fighting the urges. This is like the stuff that's my bread and butter, is like, check the APM. You know what, guys? No one said anything about not watching the player cam. We're going to watch Jedi Knight's player camera. All right, so the Marines stim in. The Widow Mine does focus fire. And could have looked away from this a long time ago. You're clearly not going to get any more value there. And then I think we just saw an F2 by the looks of it, because I just saw a lot of stuff get selected. And it's going to try and march Widow Mines in, drop mules, queuing up Marines, building a sensor tower, queuing up 3-3. Definitely a lot of multitasking. This is at least 150 APM. Feeling more like... yeah, maybe, I mean, that took a while to pick up and drop, right? And these Marines just continuing to stim forward in small squads. It feels like Jedi Knight has just got this like approach of like just overwhelm the opponent. The strange thing here though is a pro gamer would stim those Marines in and then look away, because 5 or 6 Marines can't possibly be worth your APM at this stage in the game. And they'd also be expanding a little bit faster. That being said, no, there is a 5th up here, never mind. The drop in the main goes in, and that's being queued to unload, so that's going to get stimmed. But a few of those Marines didn't stim because they dropped later, so we go for the double stim. Even pro gamers do that sometimes, even though that meant you're double stimming the first ones. Banelings come in, picks up at the last second, tries to boost away, but one of the medevacs didn't boost, so a bit of miss micro there. Is going to try and drop to the left side. You can see that there would normally be Liberators or drops or Widow Mines on the top side if this was pro play. The question is this still Grandmaster? I can't imagine this is any lower than Diamond 2 at the lowest, just because the production's keeping up, there's upgrades, we see a Great Aspire, upgrades for the Zerg. Both sides are really continuing to keep all this stuff going. I mean, the Widow Mines are being burrowed in a spread formation for the most part. If those Broodlords or Ultras get out, I think the Terran player might lose, but right now he's definitely winning this game. Jedi Knight is looking really solid. But, okay, gonna do a little bit of not really much of a pre-spread. There we go, okay, nice pre-spread. Just sending a few Marines ahead. The Spine Crawl is actually trading not too badly. The Widow Mine's being spread out. More bio just got queued up. Marines and Marauders, but not actually using the full gamut of the production, right? So this is actually crazy, guys. This is really interesting. So, by the way, guys, for those who are wondering, we are trying to guess Bustin's skill level, not the Terran's. I'm an idiot. I've been looking at the wrong player this whole time. Now, it still gives me an idea of the range that they're playing at. Let's watch from Bustin's viewpoint now. I've just wasted 4 minutes. You donkey! And this is the EU server as well. So we're not guessing NA boundaries, we're guessing EU. Now I'm already thinking low masters is what I'm kind of expecting here, because it's a high pressure game. You're not going to play perfectly when there's this much action going on. But Bustin's hanging on like a champ. Forgetting +2 carapace was huge. Remembers it there. Starts +3 melee, but it's kind of broke right now. Boston needs a 5th base up, but is taking it in the top right, and that's an almost indefensible base. But oh, the Baelings get a big hit. We've also gone for a crazy muta count very late in this game, and mutas are like the last thing you want on a small map dealing with a Widowmine push front on. So I think there's a few decisions in terms of base expansion location on the top, not a good base location, but maybe we took that out of desperation, because a single drop up there is just going to kill everything, essentially. On the other side as well, committing to mutas when you're already almost at a Spire done, that was very wasteful. We lost a lot of resources in that. Now, trying to go Ultras, always a good idea, a very good A-move unit for cleaning up these Bio-Widowmine armies. The Queens all appear to be on one control group. I'm not looking at control groups, but I just saw 10 Queens get selected. Now, I could say that's a massive noob move, right? Because why would you put them all? Why wouldn't you have separate creep queens and injecting queens? But Dark does this every game, and he's a world champion, so I can't really judge too much. Looking at the way we're kind of bouncing around, definitely the injects have stalled out at this point, but they're also like really low priority. The static defense going everywhere, I think of as a bit of a noob habit. I'm kind of like, why would you do that? But I've seen really high GMs that actually just love doing it, so we see the downside of that base. This is what I was talking about, guys. They were never going to be able to defend that, and Boston now is in big trouble. These Ultras are going to need to be huge. Clicked on the Infestation Pit. Honestly, I think Infestors are one of the best units with Ultras and would allow you to maybe win the game. How many Queens is that? 17 Queens? Oh, that's some noob shit right there, guys. You should never have this many Queens. Now, they will be able to mass transfer as Ultras, which is pretty cool. But dude, 17 Queens is beyond silly. That is actually really bad. I can imagine you can make this work up to like Masters League though, just because people will attack into the Queens and just like with small sections of units and lose them. But we're getting overwhelmed and overrun here. The Ultras do come out. Boston is getting overwhelmed. Oh man, I'm realizing how much of a crutch to looking at APM and control groups normally is in this scenario, because we're seeing a Zerg that's been getting pummeled from the 11-minute mark onwards, and I've only got what, like 5 minutes left. I don't know what to bloody... I want to check these things, damn it. I want to look at the hotkeys. I want to double check. Okay, so we've got some Ultras and Overseers. They're going to try and deny the bottom left base, which is not a bad move. But it feels like we have almost no other units. Just Ultras, yeah. In this scenario with this gas bank, Infestors are a no-brainer. But there's a lot of players out there who just never build Infestors. If you're an Ultra player, you really should be doing it, though. Ultras will come forward and... Oh my god, no spreadies! I mean, Jedi Knight has been attacking and macroing well. But like many modern Terran players, good macro and really bad micro on the engagement there. Whereas it used to be the opposite. Terran players used to all suck at their macro, but all have pretty decent micro. It's kind of turned around topsy-turvy in the last year or two. Queens pulling back. Where are those transfuses? Oh, band-aids all over those Ultras. So these Queens and Ultras, you can see manually kind of trying to defend as best he can right now. Looks like he lost his Ultras in the bottom left side of the map, but does hold on for now, and Ultras can be very efficient, especially, guys, we can see the production tab. The Terran's only building Marines. Very few Marauders. Okay, as I say that, 5 Marauders queue up. That's a problem. That's a very big problem. Concussive shells as well. What can we do? I mean, 49 drones? Honestly, you just need to get the sickest fights ever. As the Zerg player right now, these Ultras need to be absolute heroes. Is building 15 more drones, trying to get that bottom base up and mining, trying to take the top right as well. Does find the planetary. It's not finished building. There we go. It finishes at that moment, but that's a pro move. Ultras move inside the mineral line so they can kill the repairing SCVs with the splash damage and realizes, look, the bio is going to get down here. I can't afford to lose these Ultras. I can run back in and kill more SCVs that are mining, but stopping to kill the planetary is going to take me too long. So pulls back, keeps the Ultras alive. Really good move. Busting out some pretty awesome moves. Is still droning right now, though, and finds that there's a base in the top right. You cannot be droning off just, what, 5 Ultras right now. He's trying to build Corruptors, so there's something to deal with. Liberators, which you expect to come out. Liberators are a very good counter to the Ultra. Obviously, Corruptors are useless versus Ghosts. They'll help those medevacs as well. But Ultra Corruptor Infestor is a very real good composition. But look at this. No split on the Ultras. There should have been 2 Ultras on the bottom, 2 Ultras on the top. We're going to lose even more drones, and this is the one base that needs to get defended. So Boston's kind of doing decent general things, but when you're playing this far behind, you can't just do decent general things. You need to be making like real expert decisions to get back in a game where the Terran has more economy, more production than you, better upgrades than you, and is just constantly ransacking all of your stuff. Spawning pool goes down, which means you can't build more Zerglings. Maybe not the end of the world. We've got enough gas to build Ultras pretty much forever. But it does feel like, even though the units are being controlled separately a little bit, I think there might be an F2 crutch, right? Notice how all the units, yeah, that was an F2. So the units are on different control groups, but they're also, the thing is it doesn't help that much because Bustin always goes back to the habit of just selecting with F2 and, oh no, attacking into a bit of a choke, but the ultra splash damage is pretty big nonetheless. Oh my god. Jedi Knight not spreading or stutter stepping at all. We're gonna try and make Broodlords here as a comeback unit. This is crazy. Dude, if these queens were actually on the same hotkey with the ultras, it'd be huge. But you're gonna notice the queens aren't. The queens should be on the army key so that they're automatically coming in transfusing, but they're not doing that. And as a result, most of the queens have died. Imagine if there was 17 queens plus 8 ultras. How do you ever kill that as the Terran? You'd need like 10, 20 ghosts, which the Terran doesn't have a single ghost. So this is actually huge. That queen does survive, should be able to defend these Broodlords. Broodlord's gonna try and push the top, but the bottom's being overrun. Bustin just getting overwhelmed here. Man, I wish I saw the early game. My god, can you chill? Yeah, Jedi Knight's really been wasteful with the individual forces, but has been throwing these units away. And oh my god, time's up! Okay, I've got to look in a guess right there. Okay, I've got to look in a guess. There's no rewinding or anything like that. Oh my god. This is so hard. All right, we're gonna look in Masters 3. All right, after doing a little bit of research, I think, and I'm not 100% sure, but I think Masters 3 on Europe is somewhere between like 45 to 4800 MMR, roughly. I could be a little off on that. So I'm just gonna go with smack bang on 4700 MMR here. And we're gonna lock that one in, 4700 MMR, because it felt like overall there was no next level strategy going on. There was decent multitasking, but we never really saw like backstabs going in or really good army splits and like focusing on just like simplifying what was going on. There was a few good moves like trying to defend with ultras and broods, but way too many queens. I don't think we're ever going to see 17 queens in Masters 2 or above. But just the fact that the macro is being played at such a level, I mean, this could have been Diamond 1 as well. I don't know why. I just feel like the amount of pressure that Terran put on forced the Zerg to make a lot of mistakes. That's why we're saying 4700 MMR, about Masters 3 EU, locked in. All right, okay, we're not going to make the same mistake in Game 2. We know it's bad control from North America who we're trying to guess. And we are here halfway into a game, 7.5 minutes in. So this game should be about 14, 15 minutes. And it's going to be a TVP. Bad control looks like has opened up with maybe a 3-racks play, since there's a squad of bio out here but no medevacs. Third base built on location afterwards. Very late starport building its own reactor. So it looks like we've seen a 3-racks happen. I guess I can look at the units lost tab, and it looks like we killed a couple expensive units and lost a lot of poor cheap units. We're up in workers. The third of the Protoss got massively delayed. And the Protoss has a couple Phoenix out and just a lot of Stalkers and some Sentries and an Immortal. And 3 shield batteries in the natural, so we really scared the crap out of this Protoss player, didn't we? Oh my god. So Protoss player is trying to go double Forge Colossus, and we, as the Terran, bad control, are going to be going second Engineering Bay, Armory, in terrible positions. Oh god, blocking off your own base there a little bit. That's kind of weird. Excuse me, just had to have a little sneeze there. So we're going to be going 2 Tech Labs, 3 reactors, which is a bit of a weird ratio. So it seems like this is maybe not the most organized. Oh, goddamn. Sorry, guys. Sneezing my butt off. Okay, guys. So there's 3 reactors, 2 Tech Labs. Normally, you want to go 3 Tech Labs, 2 reactors, so you can build more Marauders and Ghosts, not as many Marines, especially if they're going to be going into Colossus, which, admittedly, we might not realize that, so we might think it's more of like a Zealot-heavy army, something where we might want more of those Marines. Now, there's a 6th barracks building somewhere. Down here. Normally you go straight from 5 racks to 8 barracks. To just build 1 barracks on its own, it's kind of inefficient for your actions because it just means you're spending more time going back, build a tech lab, build another barracks, go back, build a tech lab. So doing that back and forth speaks to maybe a lack of organization. Observer does see everything. We haven't scanned for that. We've got a decent bio-mine army, but with only 2 medevacs out, that starport production being so late, and against this sort of setup, we do not want to push into that front on. This is the sort of situation where you want to be dropping the main, doing run-bys into the natural in the 3rd. So attacking into Colossus Battery Sentry with a Widowmine Marine army makes no sense at all. Bad control's going to push into it. Please don't do this, dude. Oh my god. This is going to be so bad. Because if you look at it, guys, they've got the battery healing, They've got splash damage, which ruins Marines in the Colossus, and they've got so many force fields, so attacking into that made absolutely no sense. And yet, even though we've only got 4 medevacs, we're already going into Liberator production, which means we're going to have even less chance to drop our opponent. And while Liberators seem good, it's going to be a bit awkward. That being said, Bad Control clues onto the fact that dropping is a good idea, has amazing upgrade advantage. The Widow Mines, of course, not being actually revealed just yet, and he's going to do a double drop in the main and then push here. So that's what we want to see. Two-prong play. This looks like definitely, I think, in the diamond range at the very least, just from how good the micro has been, spreading Widow Mines out in front, this army darting back and forth, waiting for the drop to distract the Protoss player, and now saying, hey, how are you going to deal with this? And look at this, lures them into the Widow Mines, threatening on the front, meaning the Protoss player can't quite deal with this drop in the back. This is awesome play by Bad Control, so really good two-prong pressure. Unfortunately, does try to focus that pylon down, and only a few Marines can reach it. The Protoss is just not responding. The Protoss is so afraid of the army on the front, they're just not responding or defending at all, and that is actually going to be potentially a game-winning drop. So he's going to now recall most of the army, but that means these guys could go back in. The drop does not get microed there. It was such a late recall, wasn't expecting it. Kills a lot of the units anyway. And the army does indeed stim and EMP down in here. And once again, trying to bait this Protoss into the Widow Mines. And it works! Oh my god, massive splashies. Even getting a hit on the Colossus. Oh, could have got that Colossus down for sure. He's going to try and push in and take out the Nexus perhaps. These Widow Mines, dude, no observers being used. So I don't know if the Protoss player is just lower level or is just kind of mind screwed from the pressure in this early game, but really feels like the Terran is outplaying. Now the Terran's not macroing that much behind it, no 4th command center or anything, but when you're microing a two-prong pressure like that, you know, there's no need to do it. At this point, fighting with the libs in the mines, luring the Protoss into that artillery essentially that you've got there, really well played and taking a good trade as the Terran, cleaning up so many Protoss units. Even though the Colossus do still stand at the end of that, we could see barely the Widow Mine almost gets one, and you're just so far ahead. Now, this is where an expert Terran would drop a 4th on location, either up here or up here, and build 3 more barracks. So there we go. Bad Control does take the barracks, the command center, gets +3/+3, is a bit high on SCVs, gets a 7th barracks and a 2nd starport, and continuing to build a good mix of units here. So, I mean, Bad Control is got to be Masters. Oh, no. Oh, I just cheated. I looked at the APM. I just cheated. Oh, no. It doesn't really tell me anything because I could already see it, but you guys can count that as a loss. I cheated. I'm going to own up to that, guys. I cheated. Honestly, I think I saw about 200 for the Terran, 170 for the Protoss. I don't think it changes much, to be honest, because you can kind of see that I mean, I guess I would have guessed the Protoss is playing at about 100 APM because they're not responding to stuff that well, but the Terran has clearly got good multitasking. No matter what the APM is, oh, you can see that those units weren't control group properly, but even pros do this sometimes, where you're microing this control group, you don't realize that you're actually telling the drop to go elsewhere. But this is just really good biomine pressure, and I gotta say, Masters 1 is probably what I'm thinking here. It could be even higher than that. What if this was GM? Could this actually be GM? I don't think for the Protoss, no, but we're just looking at the Terran. Maybe. I think most Terrans would have a bit better multitasking than this, though. And even though the production's keeping up, what I mean by that is like 2-3 more command centers, 2-3 more barracks, a bit more batching up of the facilities back at home. I think I would have expected. But as it is, oh my god, this is hard. This is NA as well. So this is the MMR ranges that I'm more acclimated with. So I'm going to say Bad Control is a Masters 1 Terran player. But against the Protoss player who is clearly already on the back foot against the 3 racks. So the question is, would Bad Control still have committed to these pushes even if he wasn't ahead off the start? Because I saw Bad Control push in a Sentry Colossus battery, even though he had full vision of the army and had many seconds to choose to turn around. And it was only after his push got stopped that he went, oh, I guess I should drop and multi-prong, right? So Bad Control a little slow to make the right decision only after losing a fight. And that can be game-ending in TVP. That's why I don't think GM. That's why I'm thinking, even though Bad Control's played a very good game here, and is now trying to use Liberators. We could see the Liberator, I think, got F2'd or something like that. Oh, no, it's coming into siege the ramp. Oh, very cute maneuver, taking the top of the ramp. The battery's helping, but not enough. Those Colossus go down. Guys, the game's about to end. We're going to lock in Masters 1. I'm going to say this Terran player, Bad Control, is playing at 4,900 MMR on the NA ladder. Could be higher, could be lower. It's always hard to say. Looking at only half the replay, this is confounding, but I'm locking in 4,900 MMR. This is so much harder, this challenge. 4,900 locked in. All right, let's go straight to the next game. This one is North America, and I believe the player is BM Patrol, which is the Terran. What? What is going on? Why? Did 6 Void Rays just kill his 3rd command? What? And all the add-ons are dying. The Marines aren't reacting, and he's kind of walled off his units with the buildings a little bit. Marines do kick the crap out of Void Rays, though, especially with shields and stim, but there's not that many Marines there. Oh my god, BM Patrol, you need to bring all the Marines. Why aren't you building Marines? What's going on? BM Patrol, build Marines. It's 8 minutes. You had a beautiful 8 barracks. Why have we got 8 barracks already at 8 minutes? This is a crazy amount of production for being on only 2 base. We're going to deal with the Stalkers at the front. Wait. The Protoss is on 1 base? What is going on in this game? No one said I can't use the units lost at Nexus never done. Was this a proxy Stargate? No. So it's 2 Stargate, 1 base Void Ray versus a player who's played like super vibe macro. But BM Patrol just needs to rally the Marines here, hold the Marine key down, or build missile turrets, and would be fine. But BM Patrol has literally just ran the SCVs away to hide. You could just defend this base. Oh my god, what is this game? And is that all that's left? A bunch of Marauders and Marines. I gotta go for the base trade, but that's not enough to win the base trade. Oh, this game is ridiculous. Is going to try and build starports and a command. You don't need starports, just Marines. You've already got upgrades. You've already got 1-1. Marines are going to be so cost efficient against these. Oh my god. Oh no. Okay, I mean, this is clearly lower league, but what's crazy is BM Patrol macroed so well from the looks of it, and then just died to like Void Rays, picking off some Marines and Marauders, and was just too Marauder heavy and just not scouting. Yeah, actually, wait. Was this the first scout? You never saw the Stargates. I think BM Patrol knew they were 1 base. God, I wish I checked their vision at the start of the game. That's a huge opportunity I've missed to see what happened in this one. And the Marauders stim in, and they do some damage, but it's a 1 base economy. You don't need many probes for that anyway. And the Void Rays are very slowly clearing everything up. They really should prioritize finding the economy as well, though. And the Protoss should be out there hunting. If they find this, I mean, there's currently 2 Marines and a few starports on the map. And these command centers are building. There's plenty of SCVs, but there's no gas. Like, this is GG. So BM Patrol, I think, honestly, guys, had enough mineral income. Could have just kept mining this base, rallied Marines into the corner, and built, maybe even just built some turrets out of range of the Void Rays, or you know, built more barracks here. But a whole base could have been mining this whole time and dropping tons of mules on it. Missing that opportunity is huge. Now, BM Patrol is going to rebuild in the corner, and okay, so it's going to transfer some workers from this base over to this base over there. It needs to get gases up, most importantly, since he's trying to use Vikings. And Starcraft is literally just making 2 Stargate Void Ray, which is the worst thing you could possibly do versus Terran, because all they need to do is make Marines, and it beats it very cost efficiently. But like, to be at a level where this, and rebuilding probes on 1 base makes no sense. You're already at 15 out of 8. So this is like, BM Patrol has some good macro knowledge, and very little tactical knowledge or scouting, I think, to have died to this. Like, obviously, if your opponent's on 1 base, you're going up to a 3rd command center, and you don't know they're going Void Rays yet, because BM Patrol must have been completely surprised to get to this situation, which means you're up against a 1 base player, you're building a 3rd command center. Why aren't you scanning their base, or like sending in a drop or something to see what they're actually doing, right? It seems like it's completely surprising. And Starcraft is like, yeah, I'm just going to kill buildings one at a time, rather than think about, hey, I've got to stop you rebuilding. These Void Rays could just check the corners right now and win the game. But it's giving so much time, and that can't be happening even in Diamond 3. So that means we're definitely plat or below. The amount of macro for BM Patrol makes me think it's platinum. But the way Starcraft is playing, maybe this does better versus Protoss. If you just go 1 base, 2 Stargate Void Ray, you could beat a lot of Protoss and Zergs. But Terran players, who by default are often building Marines, I'm not so sure about. I think only if they build too many Marauders like this Terran did. So I've got to feel like Gold 1, Plat 3, Plat 2 maybe. I mean, the macro for BM Patrol is still so good though. The fact that like building depots, saturating 2 bases, putting on gases. I mean, yeah, you haven't made orbitals. It's not perfect, but the amount of actions getting done in a chaotic situation where most players freeze up and don't know what to do, getting a base here, dropping mules here, like, this is massive. Now, if these Vikings also stutter step properly against the Void Rays, I'm going with Platinum 1. And if they don't micro properly at all and he just panics and shits the bed, I'm going with like Gold 2. So this Viking micro is deciding what I'm locking in here, okay? Oh, bit slow on the stutter step. The Vikings should have preemptively been stutter stepping and there we go, and is a bit derpy. Keeps A moving behind rather than in front, which is why only these Vikings are turned to shoot and those ones aren't. Yeah, so this is not the best micro. Also is not stacking the Vikings, but the idea is there, and that's why I'm definitely tending towards, we're going to go plat 2, I think. Because, yeah, the Vikings are going to be able to do that. Now, there's some Zealots coming in. The SCVs could A move, but no multitasking right now for BM Patrol. And, oh god, is BM Patrol going to lose this game? I really thought BM Patrol should have been dead earlier, but it's not fixing up the mining. Those Vikings are all going to go down. Finally, the Vikings land here, but only after those Zealots have 11 kills and 3 kills. Just 14 SCVs just died unnecessarily. Now, we're still building 3 Vikings at a time, especially with a bit of repair. Do we know how to lift, repair, back to mining? Building more Vikings? I mean, this is kind of insane. There's plenty of gas coming in. You've got plenty of minerals down there. For some reason, 1 Void Ray is there. The rest are just sitting here. Starcraft is just sitting in the main. You literally have your opponent pinned, and you're microing 1 Void Ray at a time. Like, what is this? How is this Starcraft? This Protoss player is literally so slow. But the Terran player just did not scout or pay attention to what was happening earlier and was just focused on a one-size-fits-all game plan against a player who was on 1 base. And you've got to switch modes into, hey, my opponent's a cheesy dickhead. I got to change my style. Now, BM Patrol is going to repair, but I don't think it's going to be enough. The Marines actually tank really well versus these Void Rays if you don't stim them. If you stim, they do more damage, but I think it's better to actually tank a little bit here. Vikings, run! Run, Vikings! BM Patrol, a bit slow on the micro, and is running to the corner of the map where he will run out of space to micro. Also, once again, you can see keeps A moving behind the Vikings. You want to A move in front, then right-click back. A move in front, right-click back. So the stutter step, not quite right, is also stutter stepping a bit too quickly. Does take out a lot of the Void Rays. Where's the rest of the Void Rays? Oh my god, actually killed a lot of them. The Void Rays should have been able to cut those Vikings off. Starcross with some really noob micro. Another Void Ray falls. If these Vikings micro perfectly, they can kill so many Void Rays. This one Viking needs to kill so many Void Rays. Oh my god, it doesn't get it. Wait, 3 more Vikings just popped out. 3 more Vikings versus 3 very damaged Void Rays. No way. BM Patrol's going to do it. Doesn't even need to micro in that scenario. They're all basically dead. Still has money coming in down there. Needs to take gases down there probably. Those Vikings, I think they can beat 3 Zealots, but it's going to be kind of close. And Starcross is going to tap out because Starcross was too noob to just take the gases or transfer the 20 workers that were mining from 3 mineral patches. This was insane. BM Patrol even stutter step the Viking back a little bit. I mean, lack of awareness of the opponent, but really good at doing some other things. This is insane. I'm going with Platinum 2. This is the North American server. Let me look at my ranges. We're going Plat 2, guys. Platinum 2 on North America. This season is 2867 to 3K. Previously 2890 to 3K. Yeah, let's go 2950 MMR. We're looking at 2950 MMR for our final and third guess. Let's go. Okay, so it is time for the big reveal, everybody. Now, in that first game, remember, I did guess 4700 MMR about Masters 2, Masters 3 on EU. Let's take a look. And it was... You're kidding me? What? No way. I was off by over 1000 MMR. Oh my god. I overcompensated so much because I was like, dude, there was such pressure coming in from the Terran. Even though the Terran's micro sucked, the Terran was macroing like a beast, just rallying in from all sides. And I was like, yeah, I get it. People suffer under pressure. But you know what? You clearly macroed well to get to 75 workers and defend so many waves. You were just behind for some reason. But without seeing the early game and why they were behind, maybe I missed some massive clues in the early game. Oh my god, maybe I was also overcompensating because I massively underrated diamond players and kept thinking they were like platinum and gold last episode. This one, apparently I way overestimated by 1400 MMR off. I can't even... Oh my god. This shows how much stock I put in the early game in the openings, all right? For the context of how you got there. This is crazy. That's so far off. All right, let's look at the next game. Next game is Bad Control. Definitely was a higher level game. I guessed about 2 or maybe 300 MMR higher at 4900 MMR. Masters 1 NA. Bad Control was... What? Are you kidding me? Off by 1200 MMR again? Okay, I'm actually broke. My brain's broken. I actually look at APM control groups and the context of the early game for so much context of how players got into their situations, because I've seen high-level players play like baboons later, but the early game is so important, and apparently you take the early game away from me and I know nothing about StarCraft in the mid to late game. Oh, because so much is always decided in those early build-up stages, right? Oh my god, I'm a baboon. This is embarrassing. You guys doubled the MMR range, and I just am so off. I'm embarrassed. Like I'm right now, my ego's searching for excuses. I'm like, I'm feeling a little sick today. Like, I'm not as focused, I guess. My dog ate my MMR graph, so I didn't see it. This is straight up embarrassing, guys. I suck. Wow. Jesus. All right, we've got 1/3 and final try. 1/3 and final try. Let's see if we can actually get this right. It was BM Patrol. It was clearly a lower level game. I said about Platinum 1 or 2, 2950 MMR on the North American server, and it was 2865. Yes, within 100. Within 100. That would have been a score even for last episode. Even for last week's episode, that one would have been score. I got 1 out of 3 again. However, I got to admit, I got to own up to it. The fact that the total I was off was 1400 MMR, 12. I was off by 2600 MMR in the other two games combined. Apparently, low and mid diamond looks exactly the same as low and high masters to me, because that's how far off I was. I was off by the entire Diamond League. Maybe doing all this bronze to jam smurfing has been just melting my brain and turning me into a baboon. Honestly, in the next episode, I am going to be so much better. Even if you guys deny my early game again one more time, I am going to get it. I'm going to get at least 2 out of 3, I promise you. I can distinguish between different types of chimpanzee, baboons, and apes, okay? You apes might be able to play, but I will be able to identify by the next episode which species you are, okay? I promise you that. Not looking, I'm not looking, I'm not looking, I'm not looking, not looking.